Welcome back to a rapid introduction to C. Today we're going to go over basic Linux terminal commands and shortcuts. The first and probably the most important command is man. Man. What man does is you type after it a command or a function in C, and it's like the manual page for it. It's like the Linux manual. You can also find it on the internet though if you just search up like Linux and then like a command. You'll find the manual page. You find the manual page for that command. So, for example, man will describe what man does. Man, an interface to the system reference manuals. There are 9 sections of the manual. The most important are going to be 1, 2, 3, and 7, I found. So, executable programs or shell commands, system calls, and library calls. So, system and library calls will be functions in C that you can use. And then miscellaneous, there'll be some stuff in C that's going to be under miscellaneous. One thing about the manual is some functions, such as printf, will have like multiple sections in the manual. So if I want to man printf in the manual, printf is like a function in C that prints to the console. But if I type man printf, it says format and print data. It says it's a user command. So that means I can kind of type it in the shell right here. I can type printf here and it'll do something. But I actually wanted to see the printf command that's in the C standard IO library. Well, that's going to be under manual section 3. So when I had man up, manual section 3 is library calls. So it's a standard IO library. So it's going to be man printf dot 3 or 3 printf. And now it's going to describe printf in the Linux programmer's manual. And it's in section 3. This is what the 3 is for up here. The next command I want to go over is ls. So what this is going to do is list what's in your current directory. You can also list what's in a different directory, like ls mail. We'll list what's in mail, but clearly it's empty. The last thing about ls is the ls-l option will list more information about everything. The next command I'm going to do is cd, which is change directory. If I just type cd here, it does nothing. But let's say I wanted to cd into mail. I wanted to change my directory to mail. I type cd mail. And now it says mail on the left. I'm now in the mail directory. CD without anything after it will change directory to the home directory. So now I'm back in the home directory. But if I cd back to mail, I can also do cd dot dot. So what dot dot means is each directory has both a dot and a dot dot kind of like link. And the dot refers to the directory you're in currently, and the dot dot refers to the directory outside of the one you're in currently. So if I did cd dot dot, this dot dot is actually the directory outside of mail, which is my home directory. So cd dot dot will also bring me back to my home directory. If I do cd dot dot again, it brings me to the grad directory. And that means the grad directory is the one outside of my home directory. The next command we're going to go over is gcc. So this is the compiler that we use in CS230. You just type gcc, and then you can type the name of a file. For example, if I had a main.c file, I'd type gcc main.c, and then I'd hit enter, and that would compile it to a.out. It would name the executable a.out. If I wanted to name the executable myself, I'd type -o and then some name. And so, for example, this would name the executable name in all caps. The next 2 commands I'm going to go over are mkdir and touch. So if I cd into CS230 prep. If I wanted to make a directory or make a file, so making a directory would be mkdir make directory. So like example directory, and then touch will create a file. So if I wanted to make like main.c, I type touch main.c, and now I list what's here. And of course it shows main.c is now in the CS230 prep directory. So we also have the remove and remove directory commands. Now I'm in CS230 prep. Let's say I want to remove main.c. I type rm main.c, and now I list what's here. It's gone. But if I wanted to remove example directory, I type rmdir example directory, and now it's gone. Let me just create those again. And if I just go back to the home directory, if I want to remove everything in CS230 prep, I do rm-r, which is recursive remove, and then pass in CS230 prep, and now I list what's here, and no more CS230 prep. So it went in and deleted everything in every directory that's in CS230 prep. So this can be a little dangerous. So don't accidentally delete all your stuff. The next command, you might have noticed at the start of every section, the lnux3 is back at the top. What I've been writing is clear. Clear will clear the screen in Linux. One important thing about clear is there's actually a shortcut for it. But let's say I wanted to clear the screen, and I type ctrl L. It's now clear. The next command we're going to talk about, this one's actually a shortcut. It's ctrl C. Let's say we're doing some command that takes a long time, like sleep for 10 seconds. So if I press enter here, it's going to stop everything for 10 seconds. So if I wanted to cancel that, I type like sleep 10, and then cancel would be like control C. Control C is like stop the current program. Stop what's running in my shell right now, please. So if I like sleep for 1000 or 10,000 by accident, I'd probably want to control C it. A related command is going to be, or actually shortcut, is going to be control Z. And what control Z does is it puts the current process into the background. So if I type sleep for 1000, and I don't want to cancel, I want to keep sleep for 1000 running and keep it in the background and do other stuff while it's running, I type control Z. It says stopped sleep 1000. And if I wanted to bring it back to the foreground, I type FG, and it brings it back to the foreground. So now it's continuing to sleep for 1000, and I want to put it back in the background, control Z again. If I want to print like what the current processes are, I type like PS, and it says, okay, it's doing bash, it's doing sleep, and it's doing PS. So PS is like this. So PS is done now. But it's also doing bash, which is like the whole shell, and it's doing sleep, which is in the background now. If I bring it to FG and kill it with control C, if I stop the program and type PS, which lists processes, it no longer says sleep here. The last commands I wanted to go over were logout or exit. So if I type exit here, it logs out, and it brings me back to my CMD. Logout will do the same thing as exit here. It'll just log out. But there is a shortcut for it. It's control D. Control D will log out. One more thing about control D is that if a program's currently running, control D will send the end of file signal to will end the standard in file, and we'll explain that more, or I'll explain that more in the standard IO video. But just know that control D will like end input to a program. So that's it for today. Hope you all learned about Linux basic commands and shortcuts. and I'll see you next time on a rapid introduction to C.